Hey everybody, welcome back guys. Today we're going to talk crossbow optics again and kind of revitalize a series I had planned on doing basically this time last year, where we filmed the first episode of this, and then I just apologize. I didn't get around to filming the other episodes. So I honestly will probably re-upload the first one from last year just so it's fresh and right in line with all these other ones. But in that first one on crossbow optics, we talked about fixed reticle optics. Today, we're going to talk about Speedring optics. So I did a couple of videos on Speedring optics in more detail, kind of how they work, how to sight them in, some tips to sighting them in easier and faster. Check those videos out down in the description below for more information on Speedring optics and kind of just some more details on them. But for the most part, Speedring optics are very popular. They're honestly probably my favorite too. And the way they work is they are a variable magnification optic, but that magnification is correlated to the speed of your bow. And what that magnification or speed dial, speed ring, whatever different manufacturers call it, what it does is by either zooming in or out, you're changing the spacing of the aiming points in the reticle relative to the target. So if you have a slower crossbow, you're going to be zoomed out farther. You're going to be on low magnification. So relative to the target, your dots are spaced really far apart. Faster crossbows, you're going to be zoomed in a whole lot more, bringing those dots relative to your target tighter. Again, more details in those other videos as to exactly how they work, but they're really cool. And the ones that I have used work pretty darn well, with one specifically being my absolute favorite. That's Killer Instinct's Max View MV36. So some advantages to these optics are, one, they're relatively inexpensive. Upgrading to one of these optics, or even there's a lot of crossbows that come with a Speedring style optic. But if you need to get one, you need to get another one, they're really not that bad as far as price goes. You can kind of find them in a little bit of a range, but all in all, you can be probably between $100 and $200. Some of them have aiming points like this Max View MV6 or MV36, sorry, that goes all the way out to 150 yards. And once calibrated, especially this one being my favorite, it is absolutely crazy how accurate it is. I'll post another video down below in the description to me shooting my SWAT X1 with one of these on it at 150 yards after kind of just the initial sight in. And man, it was really awesome. They're great optics as far as you being able to, for whatever your bow speed is, combined with whatever your arrow weight is, being able to fine tune an optic with multiple aiming points for multiple ranges. They're extremely useful. Another advantage, similar to fixed reticle optics, is oftentimes these are illuminated. So you've got, like on both of these KI ones that I've got here, this is the Lumix Speedring, and then the MV36, you've got two different colors, red or green, or red or blue, and you've got multiple brightness settings. So low light conditions, you can dial that to whatever it is that you want just to be on target faster. And another advantage is that with these gaining popularity, there's a lot of options out there now. So like I've said, I've been talking mostly the KI ones, specifically my favorite being the MV36, but I know Hawk has some really good ones that people rave about. There's kind of your more like generic Amazon brand ones that have some good ones, like CV Life or some other brands on Amazon, where you can find probably some lower priced ones, but that still work really well. You can get different reticle types. You can get different aiming points in them, as far as what's inside the reticle. Obviously different ranges. Some maybe go to 80, 90 yards, some 100, some over 100, like this one, all the way out to 150. There's a lot of options out there now, as this type of optic has really taken off. A couple of disadvantages, though, to these that I want to highlight for you if you're thinking about getting one, or you're thinking about getting a crossbow that has one. One is, once you dial in, once you calibrate kind of the speed or the setting on the speed ring to your bow, your arrow setup, you cannot vary the magnification. It's not like a optic on a firearm where you can zoom in from 3 power to 9 power and have your aiming point stay the same on just a single, aiming point duplex style reticle. The center of these optics, whatever aiming point is in the center, if you zoom in and out, that will stay the same. But everything above or below the center, as you zoom in and out, that changes those aiming points relative to your target. So once you figure out what setting or magnification works with your bow and your arrow setup, you got to leave it there. So that could be something where in the heat of the moment, you might just mistakenly think you can zoom in or zoom out to get a better sight picture on something. That could cost you an animal because you have now changed from what you've calibrated and sighted into. So just know that even though it's a variable magnification, that magnification is just to calibrate the aiming points. After that, to your bow, it really needs to stay fixed. Another, what might be a disadvantage to some, it's not for me, is the reticle, depending on how many aiming points it has, can be busy. So like this MV36, some people might not like the fact that it goes from 20 to 150 yards with, there's just a big line of dots. I think it's organized well, and there's numbers associated with each dot, so it's not difficult to figure out what you need to be aiming or which aiming point you need to be using depending on your target distance. But others, it might just be too much. Like if you don't hunt long range, if you are in thicker cover and you need to make maybe fast decisions when you shoot, a busy reticle like this might just be too much going on for you to make quick decisions and make quick shot execution. So that is another one. Just know that there's going to be a lot of aiming points in these, and some people might not like that. And then this really isn't a negative, but this is just something I want you guys to know, is that most manufacturers, and I've held this one up a little bit because it's out of the box here, they're gonna give you a speed setting that should correlate to whatever that magnification is for this optic. And I'm just going to say they're pretty close. They're not exact. So if you chronograph your bow and you get a speed of 375 and you set this right at 375, and then you go to kind of basically shoot 20, 40, 60, whatever it is, and you're not right on, that's okay. You can just make some fine-tune adjustments. You can dial it right in. So if your bow shoots 375, but your Speedring setting is actually 350, it's all good. Nothing is broken on the crossbow or on the optic. It just might be off a little bit. Maybe your arrow's got a little bit more drag, so you're shooting through your chronograph at basically point blank range and getting your launch speed, but out at distance it has more drop or less drop, whatever it might be. Those are some factors that I just want you to be aware of, because I don't want you sending an optic back because your speed didn't match exactly or complain about it. You can, if those speeds weren't on this dial, you can do exactly what you need to do. And one of those videos down below is a really easy and fast way to calibrate these type of optics. So hopefully that helps you guys out. Definitely check out those other videos down below because they go into a little bit more detail. But these are my, the MV36 is on my SWAT X1, which is my main hunting bow. It's on my Vital X430. That's the bow I take out a lot, that my wife takes out a lot. These are kind of my go-to. It's specifically the MV36, just with how well the reticle's set up and how spot on it is. That's another thing I should mention as maybe a little bit of a negative. MV36, absolute money from 20 to 150. Like, it will surprise you how well it, once you calibrate it, how accurate it is out at all those different ranges. Some of the other ones, like this Lumix Speedring, I have found that this one is really good to like 60 or 70. It's spot on 60 to 70, which for me is plenty. I don't plan on shooting at deer that far at all. So to have this be able to accommodate basically my comfortable range, being my absolute max, perfect conditions, everything would be like 60. This does just fine for me. But when you get to like the 80, 90, 100, some things start to drift. And you will see that with some of them. Some of them, those extended ranges, things just aren't quite spot on. I don't know if that's the optic or if that's what I'm talking about with just arrow setups, like with how they've calibrated this to capture or set the reticle up to capture as many different, arrow types as possible, or kind of the average of that. If you've got a little bit faster, or not faster, sorry, I should say a little bit better ballistic coefficient of an arrow, one that's got less drag or one that's got more drag than how they set this up, you're going to get some different drop at extended ranges that the optic might not be able to accommodate for at those extended ranges. So just know that. I wouldn't expect all of them to function all the way out to the very max one, but I can tell you with confidence that the MV36 can. So hopefully that helps you guys out. So definitely check out those videos down below, you guys, on the more in-depth explanation of how they work. Really easy way to sight them in. If you want to see the MV36 in action out to 150 yards, I got that one down there as well. But these are really cool, really powerful, easy to use optics that can really just dial you guys in at all those normal hunting ranges and long range hunting distances, or what I just like to do, long range shooting. That's a lot of fun with these type of optics. So that's what I've got for video number 2 of this series. For video number 1, you guys can check out this video right here. And when video number 3 is ready, it's going to be right over here. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Remember, be safe, God bless, and be a sportsman, make a sportsman.